on my journey of scaling my business from 0 to 500K a month, I did tons of mistakes and bad decisions. However, I had a couple of turning moments where everything blew up and started to do really well, and that was my good decisions. And today, I want to sum up my top 12 best decisions I've ever done to get to this point. And I want to structure it in a chronological order where I'm going to start with the decisions I did way in the past, and then we're going to build a little timeline going. Just so you understand, I also had a bunch of other huge decisions, which I'm not going to mention here. However, they're very obvious and I don't want to even get into them. For example, like getting a mentor in the beginning, obviously it was a huge decision, changed everything, but it's just so obvious that I'm not going to even start mentioning it. The first thing I had to decide on, which was a huge turning point, was getting a real life office. This is something which most of people in this whole niche just don't do, and everything is happening remote. But for me personally, it was one of those things which just changed so much in my productivity and my time management. Because number one is I felt like I just have to go there because I have this office space where it's not only me, but me and a couple other people, and I have to show up on time. I cannot be super late and I cannot go early out of the office because I'm gonna look like a bitch next to everybody else if they stay longer. And also I'm gonna put this standard onto everybody else, which basically is gonna say, all right, you can do whatever the fuck you want, I do whatever the fuck that I want. This is just something which always held me accountable. Number two is after people actually got into the program, for the first 6 months or so, I had long one-on-one calls with each individual person, basically 1 hour calls. And at some point I understood, all right, I cannot manage that. I cannot have a 1 hour weekly call with every single person in the program. However, I need to ensure that the program still stays good. And the question I asked myself is, how the fuck can I do that? And the answer was, which I didn't come up with, but one of my mentors, was a bunch of 10-minute calls. Instead of having 1 hour calls, we just shortened it down to 10-minute calls. You probably might think, why didn't you just do group calls? Then you could have answered everything. The problem is, in the dropshipping niche, everybody steals products from each other. So if I sell a product and I basically show it in a group call, everybody else watching is gonna want to sell the product if they see it's doing really well for me. So I basically had this dilemma where people couldn't openly talk in front of everybody else about their product specifically. So this is how we solved it. Instead of having long hour calls, we just had 10-minute calls. This is something which seems super obvious, but it's actually not. And most of you guys are not having 10-minute calls. I've never heard anybody in this whole business doing 10-minute calls overall, because it sounds weird. It sounds like, all right, it's not going to be enough time or something like that. In reality, it's actually super productive. When you have 10-minute calls, people are super prepared. They just ask you question, bang, bang, bang. Done. And whenever something is not answered, you can still extend the call after you're done with all the calls. And this is a system which is literally gonna 6x your time. So in 1 hour, you can now do 6 calls and not 1. Game changer. The next thing I did was implementing a proper setting system. The decision was either do sales calls right away or have setting calls in between the sales call and them signing up. And this is something which, again, most of you guys are not doing for whatever reason, but it just works like crazy. And you probably might think, hey, if I already have him on the phone, why the fuck should I not close him directly and get him to become a customer on the spot? And the answer is this. You should have 2 roles. One is a closer and one is a setter. The closer, the person who actually will sell it to them, is only talking to hyper qualified people. If you, for example, are the closer right now and you have 10 sales calls and 8 of them are unqualified, 2 are qualified, and then you basically close those 2, that means you have a 20% closing rate and you psychologically are going to be crushed because you go into the call assuming they're not going to buy, because there's literally an 8 out of 10 chance that it's not even a qualified lead. So how you should structure this is your time is way more valuable than that. You have to have a person in between which qualifies. Do they have enough money? Do they have enough time? Is there a culture fit? Is everything actually aligned with your program if they agree to start? And if that is the case, only if everything is perfect about them, you even talk to them. This is gonna, number one, save you a shit ton of time. Number two, you're gonna have a way higher closing rate because you will expect people to buy. The moment I changed that, instantly my closing rate went to 70% because most of the people were qualified, and that's me not being super good at sales. Later on, it went over 85%. Having setting calls, crucial, changed everything for me. The next decision I made is instead of focusing all my time into cold ads, I understood that I need to build up an audience and have warm leads, where basically people know me and just wanna give me money because they wanna buy from me. So again, I had two options, cold ads or warm ads. And I decided to do warm. And how I did it was with this YouTube channel. It's basically my main channel in the e-commerce niche, and it's just me talking about dropshipping stuff. I started this channel around 2 years ago, and it basically grew from there, and it started to generate an insane amount of leads for me. Every single one of these videos is making me anywhere between $10,000 and $100,000. It's genuinely crazy. And you might be asking yourself, what the fuck are you talking about? You have like 5K views on average. Well, if you have 5,000 people who are dropshippers, watch your channel and then get retargeted every single week by a case study where I talk to a student who's crushing it every single week. We have a long form case study where it's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 12 minutes, 20 minutes. Basically, every single week we have a long form case study here, which is just me talking to a client, and that just converts because people see this whole thing is legit. I just need to get started, basically. And the videos in between are reaching a new audience. So everything which is not a case study is just reaching new people. And then the people who went to the channel are gonna watch the case study and then convert. So that's basically my entire lead strategy in one sentence. And it's going crazy. And luckily, I didn't decide to only do all of this organically, because growing a YouTube channel like this organically with 50K subs is genuinely difficult. It's actually difficult. But there's paid advertisements, which is just basically paying YouTube to get recommended next to dropshipping channels. It's obviously very straight to the point, but it's a cold ad to your YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel converts. It's just funneling new people in. That's the only challenge we have. And with that in mind, we're spending 10 to 15K per month on ads. We're generating 500K a month with this. So the ROAS is crazy and the profit margins are literally 70%. So honestly, paid ads with YouTube is just a deadly combination. If you pay to promote your YouTube channel and your YouTube channel converts, it's just mind-blowing. And that was one of the best decisions I could have made, which is creating a YouTube channel. And the next one is doing paid ads onto that YouTube channel. Next is I still constantly had the urge to start cold ads. I saw everybody doing cold ads and I was like, all right, why would I just not put all my amazing content out there when I basically can just print money like that? The answer to that is focus. And I decided to only focus on YouTube, and that's it. Only ads we did were cold ads to the YouTube channel. And then all the YouTube viewers, we started retargeting like crazy with call to action ads, like 1-minute testimonial ads, 2-minute videos, like short, normal ads. And it was such a huge challenge to hold myself off of doing cold ads, because you need to understand cold ads is not what you think probably cold ads are. Making a video and publishing it and seeing how it goes, that's not what I mean with cold ads. What I mean is testing around 30 to 60 new creatives every single month, where you have to film a crazy amount of things, which obviously is very distracting if my YouTube channel is working so well. So I just decided, all right, I just don't even want to get into this project. I obviously understand testing one creative is not going to do anything, and testing 30 or 60 a month is going to be too much time effort. So let me just focus on paid ads for YouTube. And that's a decision which I'm very proud of, because it genuinely was very tempting. Also, I created another video where I go in depth on how I have actually built all this YouTube stuff, and I go very, very deep into my YouTube strategy generally. So if you want to check that out, click the link here. And there also I'm going to back up all my numbers. So I'm going to share my screen, show you how much I made in cash collected and also how much I spent on ads. So just so you understand that the whole thing is for sure legit. Now let's talk about the next decision I did, which is sending people case studies before their sales calls. Remember how I showed you all the case studies on the channel? Well, I've created a playlist which is dedicated specifically to that. And we have like 50 videos in there with a bunch of students crushing it. People who watch this case study playlist just buy. They want to throw money at you because they see so much proof that the system is legit. And if you have a person in your team who's doing the setting call, it's crucial that in the end of the setting call, they need to tell the person, all right, watch this playlist. You want to understand how working with us is. It's genuinely the most important task I'm going to give you right now. Before the actual call, sales call, you need to watch this. If you tell people that, they will watch it and you're going to be astonished on the results, because the sales calls are just going to be like, yeah, where can I pay? The next thing is service delivery. And that was a very tough one, because to me, I knew I'm the best at this and I cannot give it to anybody else because I'm so great at dropshipping. When in reality, that's just not true. there's a bunch of people who are at least as good or even better at doing dropshipping than me. And I just hired these people and brought them into my team. How I did that is I just took my top clients. So I obviously have a dropshipping mentoring program, which means I'm building up people to successful dropshippers. These successful dropshippers can just teach people as well. So it's something very obvious, and you can do this in every niche. If you have a dating coaching program, how about just taking your most advanced student and letting him help the beginners? Pay him for that. And then all of a sudden, all of your time is already free. You freed up all your time. You didn't lose on quality because the top student obviously learned everything from you and is implementing your exact system. It's not that they have a very different system than you do. It's the same thing, just taught by another person. That was such a game changer. It was just literally, for me personally, like my life started to become really fun because all of a sudden I didn't have to deal with 90% of the bullshit I had to deal with before, and I could do the things I wanted to do. And this is something which freed me up. The next thing is doing the same thing with sales and basically finding a really good salesperson where I didn't have to take all the sales calls. Game changer. Like my life just became better because of that, because again, freeing up my time. And this is some objection which you might have, which is they will only buy from the person they saw on YouTube and you need to be the salesperson. It's just not true. Other people can do the sales calls for you. Done. Next, similar thing, which is scripting. Scripting YouTube videos is a very difficult task to give away, because you have the brain behind everything. However, it's also possible. For me, for example, I just needed to find a person who's really good at TikTok organic dropshipping, and he's gonna make bullet points for me and put examples into a doc, which I'm then gonna show in the YouTube video. And basically, he comes up with the ideas now. He comes up with the bullet points. He comes up with the examples. Literally all the work, except for filming, is done by him. That's something which sounds crazy, but even this video which you're watching right now, which is about my story, my brother scripted it. It's not me. Why? Because my brother watched my entire story. He came up with all these points. But I'm just here telling you these things. But if you have a person which knows exactly how you think, it's not gonna feel weird. It's not gonna feel inauthentic, because it's not. Because my brother gives me these bullet points. He just writes one word. I know exactly what happened to me back then with that word. I know exactly what I'm gonna say here. He's just giving me the outline, because making an outline for a video is actually very difficult if you do it on scale. If you want to post 2-3 times a week, you need to come up with a bunch of shit, and you're not going to be able to if you do it by yourself. So the most important thing, and this is something I want you to understand fully, is outsourcing is possible basically always. In the whole business, there's exactly one task which I have not been able to outsource, which is filming. In my dropshipping mentoring program, I film. Like the videos you see on the channel, it's me. It's not an AI, it's actually me doing it. So that's the only thing which maybe it's still possible to find another person who's going to film for you, and then they're the spokesman and you just are the guy in the background, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. However, I know it's possible. The only thing you need to understand is a person doing one thing full time is going to do everything better than you doing that, and then the other thing, and then sales, and then scripting, and then filming, and then this, and this. It's just too many tasks. You cannot do everything. So obviously you need to hire. At this point, we have 20 people in the team, and it's a life hack. It just doesn't matter how productive you are, I win, because I have 20 people working for me. And guess what? That's why the huge companies are winning against me, because they have thousands of people working their asses off for them. So the thing you're lucky with is that this agency channel is just a passion project. I'm not planning on outsourcing the client delivery. I'm not planning on outsourcing the content creation. I genuinely enjoy this. I just started this whole new project where I help coaches and agencies scale their business with my strategy a few months ago. And it's just been so much fun helping other coaches do the same. Basically what we built here is a hybrid between coaching and agency. So we're going to teach you exactly how to make perfect YouTube videos and how to apply our strategy, which is going viral on YouTube, doing ads on the YouTube channel, and doing all of that. But basically you need to have amazing YouTube videos, which we're going to teach. And then there's going to be a done for you component, which is going to be running the ads for you. So generally, if you currently are running a coaching business or an agency, you can click the link below, sign up for a call, and we will find out if it's a good fit.